Perfect timing. I love how there's like obviously like an 8 second delay from my cell phone stream to the online stream. Interestingly enough, so I guess I've never really noticed a delay on other people's show, because when you're on other people's show, like I don't know, you can't tell. But anyways, welcome to the show tonight, everybody. It is Tuesday, December 21st. I cannot believe that Christmas is in like a couple of days. And I also cannot believe that it's going to be 87 degrees in Central Texas on December 24th and December 25th of 2021. So, there's something going on in this place that we call Earth, because 87 degrees on December 24th and December 25th in Texas is a little bit unusual. I'll be curious to see if that like breaks like record high temps for that day in Texas. But anyways, that's just me rambling on. So welcome to the show, y'all. We are Free Thinkers. It is 8:05. We hoping to get started here on time. So for anybody who is looking to join us tonight, you can find us on our YouTube channel, which please subscribe over there. We are definitely trying to grow our YouTube family. Our YouTube channel is Free Thinkers Worldwide. You can literally just type in that and it should take you to our page. We have it posted, of course, on our personal pages. We have it posted in the Facebook group Free Thinkers. But you can join us live in the chat over on the YouTube channel, and it will show up on our comment section here. So we should be able to see any chat engagement on our screens here. If you are wanting to join into tonight's show, meaning you want to get in the video and go live with us, as opposed to just watching and supporting us, which we greatly appreciate, or commenting in the chat section on the Facebook Free Thinkers page. Q posted just a little bit ago. It's got the StreamYard link. It should be one of the few things at the very top of the page, but there is a StreamYard link. You can copy and paste in your browser, or you can click on the link. It should be hyperlinked. I know for some people, though, it isn't. But that StreamYard link is different every Tuesday. It's not like Zoom where it's the same login information every week. So click on that particular StreamYard link for tonight's conversation, and it will bring you right into the panel, and we can have you join live. If you're going to join us live, do try to have some earbuds, because it does make a difference. It does help cut some background noise down and the clicking, ticking noise that seems to happen. And of course, just keeping your background noise down so everybody doesn't hear what's going on. So video is always best, but understand sometimes folks are doing stuff in the background and may prefer to just hear and engage versus have their video going. So it's all good, but we do like to see your face. We like to have this conversation kind of face-to-face, virtually face-to-face. So video is always a good thing. And just quick little intro. What is it? What is Free Thinkers? We are just an open-minded group of, self-proclaimed free-thinking folks who like to engage in deep conversation, controversial conversation, conversation of all different types of things, which we will do tonight. Language warning. I always put the language warning out there because sometimes you will hear foul language. So just, be prepared. Tonight we do have a couple topics that we wanted to discuss. One of them is on the Free Thinkers Facebook group page. So there's a post in there, a relationship kind of dynamic. We always seem to do well with these relationship dynamic posts. And then, like, I don't know how many of you guys checked out the Black Tea Talk show this morning on Smack's channel, but they had a great conversation. I know Q, you got into that conversation. Tiara got into that conversation. I was in the conversation, but I'm in jail, so I couldn't post. And then I was going to call in, and then I took a call, and it took too long, and my phone died. And I was like, damn, that was a great conversation that y'all had. So I wanted to kind of bring that over here to our family and just, expand more on the propaganda and the agendas. And I don't know, just I liked when Tiara said an honest conversation about some things is needing to happen, and what better place to have an honest conversation than over here in Free Thinker World. So follow us on the Free Thinkers page, follow us on YouTube, join us, hit the StreamYard link, come on in. You ain't got to know nothing about nothing, but if you're like, man, I want to talk with these folks, get your butt on in here, come join the conversation, and let's talk some shit. I think I got everything. Did I forget anything? Anything you need to add to that, Q?
No, no,
I know
no.
your introduction last week was so perfect. I was like, why does mine take so long?
Oh, really? I don't remember. I fumbled through it. That's all I
No,
remember.
and it was perfectly perfect. I was like, yeah. I was like, I just be rambling. So anyway, so I got 16 days of jail left. So forgive us if you're kind of still trying to find like how do you find the stream. Um, I believe Q has us up from his personal page on to the Freethinkers page. So you can follow us in a couple of different places. It is not on my page because I'm in jail. What's up, Kevin? I see Kevin in the comment section. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. All right, so let's talk about the relationship one first because I have some mixed feelings about that.
Okay. So let me
Yes,
read the posts and
please.
then give me your feelings that are mixed.
Okay.
Uh,
All right.
hold on, let me find it. All right, slow up. Okay, so this is the thread. I mean, not the thread. This is the post or meme.
Hmm.
Look like maybe somebody on Instagram or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Says today, 2 years ago, the stranger I walked up to, and this is Mama J. So this is a woman speaking about a man.
Hmm.
Today, 2 years ago, the stranger I walked up to and said, "I just want you to know you're gonna be my husband." 2 years ago from today, he proposed.
Hmm.
2 years later, so 2 years from that day, now he's proposed. And then she says, "I'll say it again. If women shoot their shot, there would be more relationships." Now, that's the thought. Now, where I got this from is from local Austin rapper Black Mike. I
I
don't know if he
noticed
still
that.
rap.
I did. I noticed that.
And then he put on there, "I agree. If women shoot their shot, there will be more relationships. Man mess with who they can. Women mess with who they choose." Uh,
And I'd say no.
just my thoughts.
Hmm.
Oh, and I purposefully included his comment in there too because I did think it was interesting too as well.
That was the part that I think I had more issue with than the post itself, was just what
Okay,
he said. But I think you
so you
agree.
speak on it.
Well, I think you agree with the sentiment, though, correct?
Yes and no.
You agree with the original OP sentiment that if, well, I don't have an issue with women shooting their shot at men. Like, I also don't think that if more women shot their shot, that there would be more relationships per se. Um, I guess I don't know really what I feel about that in particular because I think it's a man's nature to pursue a woman, period. Now, that doesn't mean that a
Hmm.
woman can't pursue a man. And that doesn't mean that if a man isn't maybe showing some signs of interest, that she shouldn't possibly try to reciprocate a little bit of that energy, right? And see if there is something there. Like, she shouldn't just sit like a bump on a log and be like, oh, well, if he doesn't pursue me at all, like it's dead in the water. Because I think that a man who is dropping even subtle hints is doing just that. Like he's testing the waters to see if she's interested. And I think from what I've learned in my years of being single that, rejection is a bitch, but rejection is also something I think men generally maybe aren't necessarily equipped to deal with, but are forced to have to deal with as you get older and you get rejected by various things or just different women. Um, so I think that there's a part of the courting game that men are used to rejection on, but I do believe that women, if you're interested, you should reciprocate. If you're interested, like you shouldn't just sit there and think he's gonna maul you down into what he wants. Like, nah, if I was a dude and I was dropping hints and a chick didn't reciprocate, I'm out of here. Like, there's only so much time I'm gonna spend trying to show you I'm interested before you're clearly not interested because you're not reciprocating at all. I don't think that more relationships would happen if women shot their shot more to men. But I do wonder if the dynamic would actually change between men and women if it became more common for women to approach men or for women to try to shoot their shot, per se, with men. What I do take issue with is the theory, and I've seen this be said before on online. I do take issue with the theory that men date who they can get and women date who they want. Like, I don't think that's necessarily true. So I had more of an issue with that sentiment than just the overall, you know, sentiment of women shooting their shot at men. So that's my first thought. I keep watching your face. Like, you're clearly gathering
I am.
information here. So what are you thinking? Like, based on what I'm saying, do you take issue with certain things? Like, what's your
No,
response
I
to
don't.
what I'm
Okay, so
saying?
first of all, I
What's up,
am.
Stokely?
What's up, Stokely?
Thanks for joining us tonight.
So first of all, I'm old school. So from that aspect,
Me
I
too.
disagree with the woman asking a man, proposing to a man. There's a
Mm,
certain now, as a free thinker, as a free thinker, I have no basis on why I think that way. And I'm acknowledging that now.
sure.
There's no basis on why I think that way, other
Right.
than that's
That's just what
just
you think.
I'm old school. That's how I was brought up. I think a man should make those first steps. And there's also a part of me that believes if a man don't have the balls or the guts or the moxie to approach a woman, he doesn't deserve to have that woman. That's a part of me that also believes.
I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Like, and maybe because I'm an old school myself, like an old tradition. I mean, I really do have a lot of traditional
Right.
values more than anything. Like, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Now, of course, you talk to somebody who's like born in the year 2000, they're gonna be like, oh, that's bullshit. Like, no,
Right.
like women should pursue just as much. I know. Like, there's hunters, there's
So if
gatherers, there's
you, yes, if you ask me for logical reasons behind why I believe that, I don't have any.
right, right. Just that's
Just
what I
letting you know.
believe. But
Um,
I bet you do. I bet you do. Like,
well, my reasons, even my reasons, would not actually be logical because that goes back into well, it wouldn't be logical in today's sense because even my
right,
reasons would go back into the man woman dynamic. And I'm not one of those people who believe that we are equal.
right.
Yes,
Me
we are
neither.
equals as human beings.
Human
We are
beings,
equals.
but
But
as
as
a
far
sex.
as sex, as roles and responsibilities, I don't
Hmm.
believe that we are straight across the board.
I
Now, if you
100%
ask
agree with you.
me about that, then for the most part, I still wouldn't have a reason for you then until then it just go back into nature and primal instinct type of stuff to why I believe what I believe.
Right.
So now on the flip side of that, I do believe that if women were more forthcoming about who they want, if they would be more aggressive and proactive in shooting their shot and making advances towards men, I do think they will be more in more relationships. So in the same breath that I feel that men don't deserve the woman if they don't step up to the plate,
Hmm.
I also believe that there's plenty of good men out there who just may not they may miss opportunities. A lot of times men, contrary to what women think sometimes, every man is not used to getting rejected. Even
Right.
those who are used to getting rejected, that don't mean we feel like getting rejected all the time. There's sometimes I
Right.
might see a
Right.
woman
Right.
and I could
Right.
be like, she's man, you know what, I want to talk to her. And it's like, I ain't even got time for that today.
Yeah.
In another time period, in another space, if I woke up on a different side of the bed, I might have talked to her.
Right.
But just because, you know what, I ain't feeling it today. Maybe my mojo ain't where I feel like I want it to be at that moment, and I
Right.
ain't, for whatever reason, I ain't feeling it today. But I'm actually feeling her. But the energy and me putting forth my best foot to make that interaction, I may not be up to it right then. Now, if she
Mm-hmm.
came and she approached me, then I'd be like, oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
what you got in mind? Let me take you out sometime. So
Have
I
you
think that
had many women shoot their shot at you, like over the course of all your years, especially as an older,
in
like male, like older man? Like, Have you had women shoot their shot?
yes, of course. Now
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of how men approach women, I don't think I'm anywhere in that percentage because women get approached on a regular basis. I get approached on a decent, it happens. It happens. I say that.
Do you
And
look at
and
women differently who do the pursuing versus if you dropped hints first?
no.
No.
For
Like,
I
me, I
do.
are you
don't.
even
I
more
do.
intrigued though? Are you more intrigued by that woman if she pursues you and you're like, whoa, shit, where'd this come from? Or like, have you had situations where women have pursued you where you're like, yeah, I knew she was kind of feeling me? And have you also had situations where women pursued you and you're like, damn, I had no fucking clue she was digging me like that? Like, have you had both of those scenarios? And then is it different when you knew versus didn't know? Like, are you more intrigued by her because she had the balls to come, to try to like step to you first?
For
Go
me,
ahead.
I am
Uh-huh.
more intrigued. I'm more
Okay.
intrigued.
Okay. You're more
Me
intrigued by
personally,
the woman
yeah,
who
I'm like,
steps to
okay,
you.
let's see.
For me, I don't like a woman to
You
press
don't
me.
like a woman
It's
too.
I'd
Okay.
much rather be that guy. I mean, but I've had women approach me, and as a matter of fact, this happened maybe 10 years ago, 11 years ago. But there was a girl that hung out with us, or a lady, I guess I should say, that had been hanging out with us forever, and I knew she had a boyfriend. I knew they were going through things. They broke up, and we all went out. It was Texas OU weekend. We had all went to the game and all this, and then went to have drinks and dinner afterwards, or drinks and hang out. And she went outside and she started crying because I wasn't paying her attention, but I didn't know why she was crying at the time.
Oh no.
And then she finally told me, and I was like, "What? We've been hanging out for 2 years." Now she was pretty aggressive, but I guess because she had the boyfriend in the time prior, she didn't press me like that. She would just
Right.
little hints and innuendos, and then once they broke up, and then she told me, then she put the full court press on me. But I wasn't feeling her like that, and so
Okay.
it just kind of turned me off. Now don't get me wrong, I smashed. No, I'm teasing.
You did or you did not? Like legit, you actually did or you
What?
didn't?
I did. What are you? She was nice with it, but it just she was
But so
really
she knew that you weren't really feeling her like that, and she still went ahead and let you hit, or you let her,
what?
or you made her
Look,
think that she was feeling her, and she let you hit.
if you got to be to work at 5 o'clock, you don't miss that 4:45 bus. I'm gonna tell you.
You
You
didn't
go
answer
on and
none of my
catch that.
question. You didn't
No,
answer none of my
no.
question.
But
But did that change the friendship dynamic then? Like,
um, for a minute, and then we just
yeah,
kind of buried the old hatchet and went on. But I've always been the guy that I'd much rather be the pursuer.
right.
Shoot my shot opposed to them. I don't know why, but that's just
Hmm.
my way of
Well,
doing
like
things.
Kevin said, some men like women that take charge, and I understand that. I do, but and I'm not a man, and I've never dated a woman, so I don't know what that's like for y'all. But like, if I was a man, I would just feel like I wouldn't want. No, I would like to be the one to start the pursuit. Like, again,
Really?
it's one thing for her to drop maybe some subtle hints that it's green light. It's okay for you to start a pursuit, but like, and for me, there's got to be some fucking green lights here. Like, there got to be green lights. Period. Like,
Right,
I'm not
right.
just gonna just
Well, like
cold
you
call
said,
this.
right? Like you said,
Right?
no man wants to be just dissed and be like,
No,
shit.
and that's understandable. Like nobody does, right? But I just feel like I maybe I would look a little bit
Maybe it's
differently at a woman who pursued a man if I was a man.
maybe it's a control thing for me. I don't know. I mean, I like to be in control of my situations. Therefore, if I
Right.
put myself out there, I know just how far to mash that gas and ease off. If she ain't feeling me, she just not feeling me.
Right.
But
Right.
maybe that's what it is for me. I don't know. But
I have shot my shot one time.
Oh,
I have
once?
one
Only
time, but
once?
one time. But I don't have a whole lot of, I ain't been out there a whole lot, right? But like, and you got to remember, like prior to like becoming single, the last 5 years, most, all my dating, experience was like 17 to fucking 21, right? So that was a different era and a whole different time, like how we got down in relationships, how we had boyfriends, like how we liked people or didn't like people. Like it was a whole different dynamic back then too. So, no, one time I did, and of course I landed, but like,
Okay, that was
Of
my
course,
next question.
of course I
I'm
landed.
not finna shoot a shot if there's not
That
them.
let me know how disqualified you are. You not even if you
No,
haven't felt what it means to be rejected, then you're not even qualified to
I
talk
mean, I'm
about
sure I've been rejected. No, I'm sure I've been rejected. I've been rejected in a lot of other different ways. But like when it comes to pursuit of something, the only reason I even pursued is because it was already there, that there was an energy of I see you, and then it was like, well, damn, I see you too.
Oh
um
my god.
and it was cool, like, and we're still cool today, like we're hella cool today, like we're really good friends, and it was what it was. But I was like, this was a new part of being single for me, where I was like, fuck it, this is like this is 20 whatever year it was, this is 2017, 2018. Like relationships is different, meeting people is different, like just like everything was different. And so I was like, fuck it, that let's see what he's talking about. And he was talking about some good shit, and again, this is years later, and we're still, we're still tight. But I just still feel like, if I was a dude, I don't know, like if a woman pressed gas like that without green lights, that would be a red flag to me. That would feel kind of weird to me. So the sentiment that there would be more relationships, I don't think there'd be more relationships. I just think there'd be more relationships started by women hitting men than men hitting women. And I do not think.
Of course it. Listen, this is the law. Let me just give you sales 101.
Go ahead.
The law of large numbers. The more attempts there are, the more successes there will be. Plain and simple. If you
Right.
got just men shooting shots, then it'll be a certain percent that land. If you have men and women both shooting their shots, there's going to be a higher number. Yeah, the percentages may not change, but the numbers will increase.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Don't you look for something? Like, don't you gotta look for something that tells you that a woman might be interested, right? Like, so even if you're in a club or you're at a bar, pre-corona stages and shit, right? Like you see somebody across the room or somebody, like, you look, they look. I mean, isn't that like mutual shot shooting, until somebody walks over to somebody, like, like, so is it really,
So
did she pursue, did he pursue? Like, shit, they both was looking at each other.
There's definitely times that I've approached a woman, but she pursued. She gave me the look to approach her.
Right.
And she gave me the look like, ain't you gonna come over?
Right.
I wasn't gonna come over. At first, like, okay, you gave me the look. All right, well, yeah.
So it's the green light. It's the, okay, hey, I'm on. It's the, you can come on over here and talk to me.
Think that's what we're talking about, though.
No,
we're talking about you seeing
going
what you
and
like,
pursuing,
and you just come right on in.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I don't like that. And I've done it once, but I don't know why I don't like that.
Uncomfortable. Fear of rejection. Same reason why nobody wants to be a salesman.
Yeah, the fear of rejection. No is a terrible word. It's a good word, but it's a terrible word to hear.
Right.
Especially when you put your shit on the line,
Right.
But see, women, I'm going to say this real quick because I've seen this happen. Not that it's happened to me, but no. Women, if they with their girlfriends, a guy that is wanting to pursue one woman will wait till she gets away from that pack.
True. Facts.
Because what happens is girls will gas their other girls up, their girlfriends up. And the guy, he may be able to take the rejection from one of them, but then if all of them jump in and, you know,
That is
Oh.
true.
then all of them can get cussed out. You know, that's just the reality of it.
That's such a sucky situation.
That's facts right there. There's times
God.
and this is what women, that's the lesson that you can learn from if you don't get nothing else today. When you are with a group of women,
Oh man,
there's a lot of men who may be interested in you, but most of them will not approach you while you're with your group. And even for the women who know that, some of them, they'll purposefully get away from the group for a second just to get a man
just to go be private somewhere for a second. Go to the bar, go to the bathroom, go outside. Like, interesting. Damn, so y'all have to think about that shit
So
when
if you
y'all are
see
out in
somebody that
social
you
settings
feeling-
with.
If you see somebody you feeling and you with a group of girls,
step away.
if you want, you need to find a way to step away for a second.
Right.
Give them an opportunity to even
It's unbelievable what guys go through in this, and I'm not in that.
And I'm sitting here just like literally blown away thinking about what Q's saying right now, and I'm like, this is like things that I don't think women. Maybe it's just me, but this is things I don't think women genuinely think about. Like, I mean, like maybe we wouldn't approach a dude if he's with all of his homeboys because, like, but like y'all just something as simple as y'all being like, wait till she's by herself, or advising to women to, if y'all think y'all got a little something going, move around so he can talk to you privately. Like, that's crazy. I mean, it makes perfect sense. But I guess I wonder how many women like wouldn't adhere to that, like dating courting 101 or approaching 101 of move around. Don't get solo. Go get private. You know what I'm saying?
And even just in like group settings, that's when I find a lot of women, I guess, who understand that those are the times that they'll be more aggressive. Because they know
Would they be more aggressive, or is their conversation just a little bit on a different level because
they'll be more aggressive in shooting their shot because they know, like, he probably ain't gonna, even if he feeling me, he probably not gonna come up to me right now because I'm with this group of girls. So they'll do more of making the first step.
Yeah.
Or making it to where a step can be taken anyways. Creating that space, then I guess. Going outside, going.
Nikki, you can learn a lot tonight on this one. I'm feeling this.
I mean, I don't go out ever.
Back to your girls.
I got nothing. I got nothing. I'm 0 for 0. So I got nothing.
And I think back, like, even when I was in college, how I pursued in college. I was damn near stalkerish. I mean,
oh shit.
No.
Oh shit.
I had my few little,
you just said literally.
Right.
Literally.
My few little days that I thought were nice.
Hey girl,
I was like,
look outside the window.
No.
No, I'm teasing. But but I also had, like, there used to be a club in off Riverside of all places back in the day.
Chaos.
Called Tootsie's. No, it was Tootsie's back in
the day. I was like, Chaos. Shit.
Was that the same? I used to go to Chaos.
Everybody went to Chaos. Hell yeah.
and I was walking in one night, and this girl, and this had never happened to me ever. This girl, like, literally grabbed my butt like I was a chick or something, like, boom,
no.
and just like totally up the whole side of it.
Oh,
and I was like, immediately it was a turn off because I was like, what the hell? That's some shit a dude would do. So I was kind of turned off. But she got it too later on. Not that night. Later on down the road.
Oh, damn. So basically it doesn't matter with you, Stokely.
Back in 92, I wasn't turning down nothing but my collar. So
does this prove the point that women get who they want and men get who they can?
Pretty much. I was young, I was young, and like I said, I mean, I think that may have been the one because it turned out like we hung out quite a bit after that. We just got cool and hung out.
Right.
It wasn't always sexual thing, but it was always like, what you doing this weekend? Let's hang, or I got this going on. So we became cool and good friends. Right. But her aggressive nature just kind of, made me feel some type of way. And like I said, it did never happen to me like that before. And now it also made me think, like, do guys really do this to women? And, you know, like I've seen guys grab girls by the arm when they want to talk to them, and the girl walking away and he grab her by the arm. That's the last thing I want to happen to me.
Right. I
just kind of felt that way. But yeah, it's crazy out there.
But you know, the weird thing is that was never my style, just grabbing a girl. But
no, me either.
Thank you for that.
It works.
It works
for the right type of woman.
Oh my God. It has to, otherwise men wouldn't still do it. Yeah, it has to.
Somebody like you would be turned off by that.
Right.
There's other women who are turned on by that. Like, oh, okay. So are you in charge? Hell yeah, I'm in charge. Okay. So what are we doing? And that's like kind of where the conversation, like that's the nonverbal thing that's being said. If I come grab you, like, come, you know, some people really hate that. But then certain people, it actually works. So,
but see,
damn,
if you got, I've always been the type, if you've got good speech, like good conversation, and you've got to get them to that point. Or if you got, like, I got jokes, I really do. I have a lot of jokes. So,
I got jokes. They make you laugh.
I get them going, and then they be like, "Hey, well, you so funny," and then I go in for the murk, you know, after that. But yeah, it's your way. But like, I've seen guys literally grab women by the arm, and some women be like, "I'll be with y'all," talking to the girls. "I'll be with y'all in a minute." He want to talk to me, and next thing you know,
oh no,
he didn't want. You know?
Oh no.
To each his own. To each his own. I mean,
you're right. But the woman grabbing your butt, that's crazy. That's crazy to me. Like, I would never do that to somebody. Like, that's just not somebody I don't know, not somebody I don't already have permission. Are you serious? Woman grabs you like that?
I swear to God, yeah.
And I'm not just
ladies,
like grab
ladies, quit grabbing these men. Ladies, quit grabbing these men.
Your stuff.
Oh,
and
no.
Yeah.
Oh, ladies, no, do not grab a man in his meat or his ass. Do not do that. Not unless you have all the permission.
It happens. And that's why I said earlier, like,
that's so violating.
It bothered me though. I'm not gonna say it bothered me though.
It kind of bothered me.
But it doesn't bother you because at the end of the day, it's like, oh shit, okay. But like, no, that should bother you. Like, no woman should have permission to just go up to a man and grab his shit. If y'all went up to her and grabbed her shit like that, you'd be going to jail. Like, that's
right.
no, no.
And that's what we're gonna get into. I think that's what we're gonna get into later. There's no double standards.
Double standards.
There's known double standards.
Yeah.
And then see, I had to also, through talking to people on Freethinkers, I realized the difference between a man doing that to a woman. A man is, in most cases, a physical threat to a woman.
Right.
What does that mean when you invade her space like that?
Right.
A woman doing that to me, is it wrong? Yeah, it's wrong. But do I ever feel threatened? Threatened
by her, right? Like, now she was a big ass, she was a big old 6'5" woman, looking like a linebacker. You might be like, oh, wait a minute, bitch. It's my goodies. What you doing? Hold on, that's my shit.
Right. There's a different level of threat
genuinely
depending from one side to another, because it's not just what happened. It's like, what does that mean? If they're trying to take control over my body in a certain type of way. Like, even when a woman do that to me, I don't feel like I've lost control of my body. That's me.
Well, like you said, she's not necessarily the threat to you as much as the man would be in that typical situation to a woman. So yeah, that makes a big difference. That makes the outlook on that situation different.
I ain't saying it's right, but I'm saying
right. No, I hear you. Ladies, I'm just saying, don't be running around grabbing packages. That shit ain't cool. If we asking the fellas not to touch us, we have to respect. Like, you legit have to respect somebody's space, not to touch them. Drunk don't make a difference. High don't make a difference. Horny don't make a difference. Unless he giving you green light. Unless he giving you green light to go ahead and touch some goodies, that's your business. But if you don't have the invitation, keep your hands to yourself.
I am about my space I'm about my space. I've always been that way. Meticulous about things that are, that are mine.
Yeah.
But that does happen. It does happen.
Damn. See, I guess equivalent to that. Well, not even the equivalent at all, but like I get super um like upset when men grab my hair or men walk behind me, like not in just regular, like in go out type situations where I've got my hair out and people are out in the club or the bar drinking or whatever. Like I'm massively bothered by people who think that they can just walk past me and like tug on my hair or pull my hair or something. Like yeah, it's an extension of somebody's body. Like just because it ain't yours
Absolutely.
don't mean that it ain't theirs, you know.
Right.
And so that bothers me that like chicks do the same thing. Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's
Yes, y'all
See,
do.
ew.
this is the other.
Ew.
This is the thing that people don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
Um, and I had pretty heated discussions in the past about this. So, do you know where those incidents typically happen that I spoke of?
What, women grabbing you?
Yes, in
Like just
places,
out in
casual
social
places where
setting.
there was a lot of alcohol
That's what I
involved.
say. We're like drinking and going out, like
Yes.
club type of environment. Sure, sure,
So if I'm so
sure.
offended to the point of I'm just completely appalled, some things I can do is remove myself from those type of situations. Maybe I don't need to be
Right,
out at bars where there's a lot of
right,
alcohol and
right.
people who are out. It's alcohol for a reason.
Right.
Like
It's gonna
it's
lower your
going
inhibitions regardless. So like that's
to
just what's
affect
gonna happen.
right. So
Right,
it's one of those things to where people, well, no, yes, yeah, you're right. No, right is right, wrong is wrong.
right.
But there's in every situation, there's always something where you can, even when another person is wrong, like I said, they were wrong for grabbing me, but I still can ask myself the question, if you are so offended, what can you do to minimize? And I know you remember me having this conversation to minimize exposure to these type of things happening.
But that doesn't mean that you
I
shouldn't
said
be
that
able.
already. I
I know,
already
but
said
that
that.
doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to go out or you know, like you shouldn't. Those types of things shouldn't happen in a manner in which you have to question whether or not you can go out socially because other people can't control themselves or other people, you
It
know, can't
just shouldn't
respect the
happen.
next person. Like, yeah, it just shouldn't happen. I mean, so it sucks that you would have to remove yourself from a situation that maybe you enjoy doing.
But you can go to other places where that may, like I can go to
Well,
like Glorious. You can get drinks there, but it's a little
yeah,
bit
there's
more
alcohol
upscale.
there. Yeah.
Right. But it's not this
Sure.
loud club environment where it's just, like crazy music playing and it's just this, you bumping
The
shoulder to shoulder
environment.
with people. The environment is a little different.
Right,
Even with the
right,
alcohol, you can
right,
minimize exposure by saying, hey, I can go to Top Golf
right.
It
and
can
get
happen in Top
alcohol.
Golf.
It can,
It can happen anywhere. It can happen
but
without alcohol, but
it can
alcohol
happen. It
definitely
can happen at a
increases the
church.
propensity for
It
you
can
to not.
happen.
Yeah,
It can
yeah.
happen anywhere. It
At
can happen
school, at the
in
library,
the Oval
at the post
Office,
office,
any of that stuff.
the
But you want to
Oval Office. It's a
minimize.
guaranteed.
You
There's some
minimize
shit going down in
exposure.
the Oval Office.
It's
Yeah.
things you can still ask yourself to minimize exposure.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just that to me sucks though. You shouldn't have to, you know, and it goes back to, you know, similar conversation of minimizing exposure and other things too. You shouldn't have to dress a certain way or walk a certain way or be in a certain, you know, whatever
Right.
to not have to be, you know, exposed to things that is not in your control. It's simply because somebody else lacks control. It's simply because somebody else lacks discipline. It's simply because somebody else lacks principle or integrity or moral. Like all of a sudden, because your morals are shit, now
Right.
I have to be
They can be
affected. Like
wrong.
that's fucked up.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
And I
But
realize that's like a fairy tale, like, you know, world I'm painting here where this shouldn't happen, but it
don't
shouldn't.
say you have no control until you've
Well,
asked yourself
yeah.
some of those questions.
Well, yeah.
Armand, what are you thinking? I
Yeah,
ain't heard you say nothing yet.
realistically. Yeah, welcome, welcome. We haven't seen you in a couple weeks. I'm glad you got to join us tonight.
Thank y'all.
Fresh fade, fresh lineup. I see
Yeah,
it.
I saw it too. I was like, man, he got it cut.
Thank y'all. Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking, you're right, Q. I mean, you don't have to go to those kind of places. I mean, if there's alcohol, like Ricky said, alcohol is a great disinhibitor. It removes people's like inhibitions.
Inhibitions.
I've even heard people say the real you comes out when you're drunk. So there's that. So, and but yeah, you're right. I mean, I guess just how women have to be careful about where they go and the way they behave in social situations. I mean, I guess, it was. I mean, it's turnabout is fair play. I mean, it's bound to be a situation where men get put in that same kind of situation too. That if it happens to women on a daily basis, it was only a matter of time before the same thing happened to men.
Yeah.
Do you think that women shooting their shot at men could be like this new era of women who, I don't want to say are acting predatory, but like this new age of women who are like, tables turn, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, now we're coming to get ours too, or now we're coming to take what we want too. Like, because there's an essence of women feeling preyed on by men. Not all men, but there's definitely an essence of women feeling preyed on by men. So do you think that like the tables are turning? Do you think that, women are somehow finding their power now in a different fashion in 2021, 2022, and they're like, fuck it, we're going to do the pursuing too? Like changing the roles, changing the male-female dynamic. Like, do you think some of that is some of that? Or do you think it's just women being more bold or not caring as much and shooting their shot at men more? Does this happen more than it used to? Like, is this more of a common occurring thing that, you experience now versus in your 30s or your 20s? Like this is all, what do you think?
As a married man now,
right.
Back when all this was happening to me, I was fine. So, women thought they would tell me, "You fine?" Thank you, I appreciate that. But now I'm old now, so I don't get that anymore. But yeah, that would be kind of scary to me to be a young 28, 29, 30-year-old man now. Because I was at the mall 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and these little youngsters, I mean, for me, I wish I would walk through the mall and see my daughter sitting on some dude's lap in the mall on the little thing that surrounds the water fountains and stuff. But they be sitting on them, And me back then, when I was a teenager, you better not sit on me. That was the green light. That was the green light. So it's different times, different eras. People are living differently nowadays. Kids think they grown now, but I did too when I was a youngster. I thought I was grown. Wasn't really grown, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I just feel like, before I was single versus being single now for, the length of time that I have, like I didn't know about these rosters and shit, right? Like I didn't know about rosters before I was, before I became single. And like, so when I became single, I'm like, oh, my girlfriends are talking
rosters
about
or Rastas?
Roster, the list.
No,
I knew about the roster, baby. I knew about the roster. That ain't new. That's not new. No,
you talking about like a basketball team roster?
Yes, baby. How many you got on the team? And I was like, team, what are we talking about? Like that was like, I don't know why that was so brand new to me or why I was so brand new to that, but I was like, oh, this is weird. Like that was not going to be how I was as a single woman. And then there were times, especially the first couple of years single, where I was like, damn, am I doing this wrong? Like all these chicks have rosters and all these chicks have multiple dudes and all these chicks talk about pursuing certain men and how it's no big deal. And like, it's just what you do now. And I'm like, I can't subscribe to that. Like, I don't like, that's not for me. So that's why I asked, do you think that like the tables have turned, or am I just, super fucking green here and like, so, just slowly learning the things that have always been there that I just wasn't exposed to because I wasn't out in that dating world? That are women becoming more like breaking the molds of like Q and I said, like maybe no longer old school mentality, maybe no longer part of that old picture of wait for a man to court you, wait for a man to pursue you, like fuck it, just go after him. And like I don't know, like
maybe times have changed, because I can't even imagine like my mother pursuing my dad, pressing my
right,
dad. I just
right. That's so weird.
That is like my mom. It would
This is why I'm okay with it. I keep hearing women say that they have hard time finding men.
We do.
Okay, I'm not disagreeing with that, but
Right.
I'm saying if this is something that I hear overwhelmingly more than I hear men say that as far as them having a problem finding a woman. I hear it some, but not in the same balance.
Right,
so
right.
If that's the case, then I am one of those, well, maybe you do need to try something new. If you're gonna have an issue with it, then you might
right, right.
Try to switch it up. I don't know.
No, I'm good. And that's why I take issue with what was said in the second part of the post, that women get who they want and men get who they can. I think men, and you and I disagree on this. You think women can get laid way easier than men can get laid.
Absolutely.
And I don't agree. I don't know. I don't agree. I don't feel like that's necessarily. I don't feel like that's necessarily true.
Nikki,
I don't. I know, but
no.
I think.
Come on.
I mean, I agree that women can get sex a lot easier than men can get sex.
No doubt.
Yeah, because I mean, men when men are horny, they don't exactly make it a big secret. You know what I mean? It's not something that they go out of their way to hide and conceal. You know, I mean, it's not like women have a hard time picking up on, oh, he's horny. You know, so.
But really, all women have to do, I mean, like, I
go
think
outside.
it said it. Yeah, I mean, all you gotta do is wake up in the morning and be good. You will get hit on at the very least, and that's just it. I can go. Well, back in the day, I could go a week and nobody try to holler. So then I had to, put the press on somebody.
But is that because that's what the standard was then? Is men pursued versus women pursued?
I'm glad the gender ratio is where it is. Now we can gang up on Nikki and she ain't got.
Oh, yeah, you ain't finna gang up on me, shit.
Yes, I am.
Let me tell you, I didn't know.
No, I'm gonna tell you, Stokely. This is about Nikki and other women. They get hit on so much.
No,
I'm sure
that they learn to like block out and filter out those people that they're not even interested in. So even when it comes to like, they will I guarantee you, if I hung out with Nikki for 2 or 3 hours from a distance, like
we've done this before, and you ain't never seen nobody hit on me. Never, ever.
Stop it. Stop.
Never. Never.
It'll be to the point where she don't even notice because she's learned to block it out.
Yeah, I've seen.
That's how a lot of women are.
Exactly. I've seen, and then they become they want to play like they naive to what's going on.
Like,
no, I'm not saying that doesn't exist. I'm not saying that some women don't participate in that. I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but that doesn't exist necessarily the way that you guys think it does, because there are more 99% of the time, before Corona, when we would go out on a regular, I did not get hit on. And I'm not the baddest bitch in the room, but I'm far from the ugliest chick in the room too. So no, and I am friendly, and I am friendly with everybody until I'm not. You better quit that.
That's me Heisman stiff arming you right now.
Right. And I'm cool, and I'm friendly, and I'm conversational, but
maybe guys were hitting on you, and you just didn't know they were hitting on you.
That's what.
Some guys don't. You know what I mean? Some guys, when they hit on women, they have a particular style, and some women notice it. you know, and so you might be getting hit on, but you don't
They
think
don't
you're getting hit
notice
on.
it because they get hit on so much that
They've learned to
I
block it
don't.
out.
I don't think that that's necessarily the
Nikki, let
case.
me ask you something. Nikki, hold on. Let's go simple. Nikki, are you ugly?
No. No.
How was your body?
I'm
Do
alright.
you- that
Yeah,
right there
see?
tells
Yeah,
me
there it is.
you not ugly and your body is all right.
Right.
That right there tells me how much attention you get.
Yeah.
None. I don't know. No,
Look at the look on her face. The look on your face is telling.
It's telling you the motherfucking truth. It's telling you don't nobody talk to me. Don't nobody no. And so like a couple weeks ago, Q was like, it's your facial expressions, it's your scowl, and I was like, I don't have a scowl on my face, and yes, I do sometimes, but like, I don't know. I feel like I put out this. I feel like I put out an energy of like if I'm not interested in you, I'm not going to be like one of those rude, like major rejection, like bitch type chicks. Like I'm just not interested. I'm not, whatever. Like I'm just not going to
Okay.
be
Well, listen,
outlandishly, shoot
Nikki,
a man down type shit. But I'm telling you, I think that y'all give us more credit than what
yeah,
you.
we need you to go ahead and retract the statement while we're on live.
What statement? What am I retracting?
When you say that men and women, it's the same as far as who gets hit on.
Not even close.
It's not
No,
true.
I don't think it's no, I don't think it's the same. What am I retracting? What did I say? I don't think that men and women get hit on the same. I just don't think that women get hit on as much as you think that we do. I don't think that all of us get hit on as much.
But still 10 times more than men get hit on by women.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe so. Maybe
Yeah.
so.
Right.
Maybe so. I don't know.
Sorry,
I just know that if we both went out, I guarantee you that you would probably have more suitors by the end of the night than I would have by the end of the night. I swear to God.
I get a lot of suitors.
You do. You get a lot of women approach you.
A man's standard. But if it was by a woman's standard, I'd be on the bottom of the totem pole as far as
No.
Scrape at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. But based on what y'all just said, like it might not really always be in a woman's best interest either for success rates to pursue men, though. So should we just wait till y'all pursue us, or do we just wait until you pursue?
It's about take your shot if you want to take your shot.
Right.
That's, I mean,
yeah. If that's what's in you to do, then do it.
I just want to point out this whole conversation is really a testament to how far we've come as like human beings. Because think about it, thousands of years ago, the question was, like, okay, women get who they want and men get who they can. But thousands of years ago, it was like a woman got whoever paid her father the most cattle or the most land.
Yeah.
And and now
men got what they wanted because a lot of times they took it. That's just the facts.
It is.
Yeah. And so now we're talking about who gets more, men or women, or who attracts more.
These
and
damn women's
the amazing
rights.
thing is like, like if you did a time machine, and you went back and you brought somebody here and you told them this is what we're doing now, I mean, they would have said this is crazy.
Okay, Stokely, Armand, Nick, you just said something. Well, you said something that provoked the thought of me. This is my thought. Yes, we've come a long way, and I'm proud of how far along that we've come.
Yes, thank you.
On the flip side, I think this is my thought, and this is fresh off the top of my head. I think men need to continue to push back in a healthy manner so that the growth that we see will be the right type of growth. I think when men get to the point to where they just jump totally on the bandwagon, and then you start going into all that stuff, believe all women and all this other crazy stuff that they start saying, then the pendulum, it swings so far that it creates an imbalance. So I think that you have to, I think men need to keep pushing back to some degree so that change can keep happening, but happen healthy and not happen in a way to where people who push an agenda take it too far, which is what they often try to do.
Right.
Sure.
That's why I push
I
back.
agree.
Can you expand on that?
I
Like,
push
what do
this.
you mean grow in a healthy way? Like, what is healthy?
You need to push back. You
Give an example.
don't
Like, what do you
need
mean
to
how men should push back?
believe all women.
No.
Remember,
In terms of like if a woman says X happened, then X happened.
Yes. Do you remember when they start trying to do that slogan, believe all women? Do y'all remember that? This was during the Me Too, and this is, I don't know, probably around the Bill Cosby's. And then it just came believe all women. Like, no.
Yeah, I think that taking at face value, I mean, I don't think you should believe. I mean, I don't think you should believe all. I don't think you should believe. You shouldn't believe everybody.
Right. Anyone.
Like, yeah.
Carte blanche,
lie. Men and women
but
lie.
In the midst of a movement, people who want to be so gung-ho on the movement start going along with stuff that don't make sense. The other thing, that's when we start going into the trans thing.
So here goes their agendas. Today. Yeah.
When they talk about a woman is a woman. A trans woman is a woman. No. A trans woman is a trans woman.
Yeah, because like a trans
because
like a trans woman is a man that got cosmetic surgery to look like a woman, but that doesn't mean that
I can't even go that far.
Well, he may not have had cosmetic surgery, and like let's try to be as like, you know, as accurate as we can be. Like, he may not have had plastic surgery, but he may very well have other genetic chromosomes within his body that, you know, may have like progesterone or estrogen versus, you know, more testosterone, right? Or maybe, you know, he actually is like growing breasts as opposed to like just, you know, a flat-chested man. Like, so it's not just a cosmetic surgery thing. And I do want to be fair to anybody who possibly is listening, because we do try to be as accurate as possible, but these conversations have to happen. Like, yes. So sorry, go back to what you were saying.
No, I'm okay with, and this the balance. And this is where you need to push back to some degree. I'm okay with saying a trans woman is a trans woman.
Right.
Now, when you get to the point, remember that, like I said, this is a conversation we had like a year ago.
Hello.
A trans woman is a woman. Remember? So now, when we go along with that statement is what allows trans women to compete athletically with other women. And now when they breaking all these records and breaking women's noses when they fighting in combative sports.
You know, I mean, although I gotta ask a question about that.
Why you gotta make sure that you push back so that we're growing healthy and not just going along with stuff to a point where it goes too far. And now what's gonna happen?
Because I noticed
at some point in time, girls are gonna stop. No, you fine. At some point in time, girls are gonna stop competing in athletics.
And I noticed too, like, because I noticed too, like, okay,
women.
Like my whole thing is like I'm thinking, like, if somebody's taking hormones to be a certain way, like if they're competing in a sport, isn't that kind of like taking steroids? Because if you're taking a hormone,
well, the steroids was everything that they did before they started taking these
hormones. I know, but I'm saying
the steroids was the years and years of testosterone that they
But I'm just saying that, like,
so Armand,
you're taking a hormone.
Armand, because that's a conversation I've had in the course of this last year or so with this particular conversation happening, because I kind of looked at it the same way you did, right? Whereas testosterone and things like that are performance enhancing drugs. Like, these are generally men who are taking drugs to suppress testosterone. So the theory is that they're not actually getting performance enhancing drugs to suppress their natural, you know, hormone levels. But at the same time, like, we just saw what happened with Sha'Carri Richardson. Like, she couldn't even smoke fucking weed. And, you know, weed can stay in your system for 30 days and you're still not actively being affected by it when you're no longer high, but it's in your system for a long time. And she wasn't able to compete because she had mood altering substances in her system. I feel as though if you're putting anything that is not natural into your body to be able to qualify in a certain bracket to perform a sport, you're not playing against a natural bodied individual. It's not the same thing. So the argument of it being performance enhancing is not necessarily accurate, but it's also not the original form either.
the
can say this.
testosterone that your body was naturally producing from the time you was 11 up until you turned 18 or 19 and decided to transition.
Right.
That was the drug that gives you had 9 years of a drug that gave your body an unfair advantage over other women.
Exactly.
Agree.
My point is
Yeah,
this:
Agree.
you had
Agree.
the girl that was the girl. She's like 6'4", 248 or something like that, lifting weights, competing in weightlifting against other girls.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. I mean,
and then because like they said that those two women from Africa, that African tribe, they had more testosterone in their body naturally, and they weren't
Naturally
even taking
occurring.
anything. Yeah, and then they said, "Oh, you can't be in it because you have more."
They disqualified them from their event.
And I'm like, well, if you're, and I thought to myself, if they're letting the trans athletes in and they're taking hormones and stuff, and they got hormones in their system, even if no matter what the reason why is, the point is they have something in their system that wasn't naturally occurring.
Right.
So why are you kicking the African girls, the African women out because they have a hormone in their body?
You and I both know, Armand, why they kicked them girls out that competition.
It's one of the reasons why I don't fuck with the Olympics. I mean, it's just as racist. It's just as racist as any other organization that obviously there is.
I was listening to something about the Olympics and how racist it truly is historically.
Yes.
That's my shit. So
I learned more about that, I think, this Olympic season because there was so much conversation about trans athletes and just things that really hadn't been highlighted, I don't think, much in sports because it was very taboo until until the last handful of years where we've really been trying to be an inclusionary people, but how you don't want to exclude anybody, but at the same time there has to be some things defined because it's not the same. This is not the same.
I don't want to say anything too like controversial or too kind of out there. But did y'all?
Why? This is what we do. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like some stuff I know, like some stuff like you think you could say it, but then you say it, and it's like you can hear a pin drop. So I mean, it just feels like sometimes I've noticed that like the civil rights movement,
right.
Like I think like the civil rights movement, I think that a lot of people, some people try to use the civil rights movement to like get their rights, but other people try to use it to manipulate and exploit. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
Of course.
That's absolute fact.
Yeah.
That's why, and I'm gonna say this. That's why white folks always holler Martin Luther King, always when they trying to make a point. If they knew Martin Luther King had gone to jail 33 times before he was famous and people knew who he was, they would think differently about Martin Luther King. So white folks, that's a fact what you just said, Armand, and I'm glad you kind of brought that up. But I was going somewhere with this and I can't remember now. But yeah, good point. But it was this wide receiver girl. She played high school football. Wide receiver finally got in. Their team was up, like 14 points with 5 minutes left in the game. They sent her across the middle. Toe ass up. The free safety came up and just smashed her. And now the town was mad at the free safety for hitting her so hard. Well, she caught the ball. It's kind of off topic, but it's one of those things where can you really compete with a teenage boy or a man in those types of situations? I mean, I felt bad for the girl when I saw the video. I was like, oh my God.
But Stokely and Q, I wanted to ask y'all a question. Are y'all basketball fans?
Yes.
So if they took a WNBA team and had them play against an NBA team, would y'all watch it?
0-82. They would not win.
Damn.
They would not win.
He said no points on the board.
No, but I'm saying
they score a couple points. They wouldn't win a game though. They wouldn't not win a game.
Okay. See, so y'all are saying if that was like a promotional stunt where they took like the best WNBA team and put them up against the best NBA team, y'all wouldn't watch it. Y'all wouldn't
let them go a season. You could, I would watch it because it's not going to do anything physically toward them except for hurt their pride. But like, I'm not going to watch a boxer, the best female boxer.
I can't watch that.
Or an MMA. No, I'm not going to.
I can't do that.
Or a football team. I wouldn't watch a women's football team go against a men's football team. But basketball, basketball, soccer, things that's not a physical like that, violent sport. Then I'd watch. They wouldn't win a game though.
No.
Not one
Mm.
game.
Okay.
Damn.
They
Well, I mean,
wouldn't
that's
be
an
up at any
argument that gets
halftimes. None.
that's an argument that gets made frequently when this conversation happens. Is you don't see female-born women wanting to get into men's sports. You only see
So
male-born women wanting to get into women's sports.
I have a question in a second. That's where I'm trying to get.
Wait, I missed something. Say that again, Nikki, because
You don't see male-born. You don't see female-born women trying to get into men's sports. You only see male-born women trying to get into women's sports. You know, like I'm trying to be as totally anatomically correct as possible, but like you don't see that happen. You only see it where men are trying to come into women's sports.
They won't make it in any sport. Not in
Right.
tennis, not in basketball, not in soccer, not in anything. Maybe chess. Try play chess.
And that's not to say that obviously that's not to say that there aren't like stellar female athletes. Like we're not saying that. We're totally not saying that. Nor are we saying that all men who get into, you know, all male-born women who get into women's sports are doing it because that's the only way they're going to win. That's an argument that a lot of people
that's
like
what I'm saying.
Well, but that's an argument that a lot of people like to make, that because you know my stance has been since day one, I don't think that trans women should be in women's sports, and that's not because I think that they're going to dominate the sport because they're just like the women are just not good enough, you know. Like no, they're going to dominate the sport because they're physically more superior, body size, you know, more whatever, than a woman. But people are like, oh, well, y'all are just afraid. Afraid of what? There's nothing to be afraid of. Like, it's not. No, I think it's
Those are the trigger words, Nikki, that people try to say when they want you to fall in line with their agenda.
Yes.
Yeah.
They try to say you're bullying someone.
Yes.
They try to say you're something phobic.
You're transphobic. You're homophobic. You're anything phobic. And when you look at the definition of those words, those words are like, no, I'm not fucking transphobic. I'm not homophobic at all.
Yeah. Because I mean, phobia is like an irrational fear. I don't think
there's no fear.
Anybody's afraid of anything.
Those are definitely
some people are.
Right, and that's true. That's true. That's true.
I think some people, they just don't want to hear the truth.
Or not. Sometimes, let's go back to the phobia part. Sometimes it's not that you're directly afraid of the person, but
the outcome.
You're afraid of the outcome, what this will mean for society, for your way of life in the future. So that's where certain phobias come in.
Fearful, yeah.
I'm not directly afraid of the person.
Right.
If women get equal rights, and if women get equal pay, and if women get
the outcome is what
power like me, then what does that mean for me down the road? And that's the
thing is, like, women. But like, if you look at some businesses and CEOs and stuff like, and if you look at other countries, like some women are able to get into like positions. Like I think that country, India, I think they have a female. I think they had a female prime minister.
She got killed. Benazir.
Yeah, she did.
She got
murdered. I don't remember, but
term,
she did. Yes, she did.
Because she was a woman. But
yes, she did.
If you think that that's one of those situations where I mean, we're looking at it right here in this very United States, all the voting rights. 30 states right now, they've changed
abortion laws,
the voting rights, all of these things, because they're afraid of the outcome of what could possibly happen if Black and brown people were to somehow make this great rise. That's the fear. And they're fearful that women, well, we already know the situation with abortions and such, but that's their fear. That is their fear. And if they can change anything along the way before it gets to that point, that's what they're doing. So Benazir, I can't remember her last name. Killing me.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm just gonna throw this in here before I get to my final question. We got like 15 minutes.
All right.
You do, because we talking about these trans athletes, high school, college, and the agenda. I hope people realize that a lot of these people are also plants that's being put in place by, listen, I guarantee you, some of these people, some of these trans women, they weren't even thinking about sports. They weren't thinking about certain things.
Damn.
But you get people who have this agenda and say, we need you to be in this sport, to bring awareness to our cause, and to bring, so then not only do they start winning and breaking records and stuff like that, but then also you see how there's a story behind it all the time. It's always making the news.
Always.
The agenda is, they're banking on that because they need to push the agenda to help normalize it, to get everyone to say a woman is a woman, no matter what. That's part of the agenda, to normalize. And I get part of that. I mean, I get, you do want to normalize people in society,
Right.
but that's where I said that there needs to be certain pushback, because agendas always take things too far. That's their job, to push it as far as it can go.
Right, but
So-
Q, what if both sides have an agenda? What if one side has an agenda and then another side has an
Yeah,
agenda?
that's why I've been saying this. I've been on this kick for the last 6 to 7 months. I don't rock with agenda based anything, and even if I decide to attach myself to an agenda, you never want to do it permanently. You need to know when to jump your ass off of that bandwagon, because there will come a time where the agenda will keep going too far, to the point that it's
It
not
always
in the
does.
interest of all people and equality for all
It
people.
always does.
Right.
Always.
Right.
So that's why I said you gotta
It's
watch.
like they always get co-opted
gotta
by
watch the Me
something
Too
somewhere.
You gotta watch Black Lives Matter. You gotta
Yeah.
watch these evangelical Christians. You gotta watch any movement that's the right wing, these Republicans and the Democrats. All of you gotta watch them.
All
They
of
gonna
them.
keep pushing. They push too, and they push even to the point of, even when it's to the detriment of society as a whole. Their
Look,
only job is to push their agenda.
They
Well,
will,
and that's where your handlers come into play, because that's their creation. You know, that was their goal. Go ahead, Stokely.
We see that we will, not we, but as a nation, we'll kill our own to push an agenda, without a doubt. We'll eat our own, kill our own, whatever you want to do. But back to the trans thing real quick, because when I was watching the Chappelle, the closer, and all that he was talking about, a lot of people missed a lot of what he was saying, because they were so caught on the trans and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what'd he say?
Yeah,
What'd he say? What'd he say?
Stokely.
Yeah.
Stokely, let me disagree with you, Stokely.
Go ahead.
That goes back to my argument. Hold on, I got
There's an
this.
Amber Alert.
Amber Alert.
Oh, we all finna
That
get
goes
it.
back to my
I got it.
argument. They already had that walkout in Netflix. They had that plan before they ever even watched the show. They were already planning that ahead of time. So it didn't matter what he actually said. They were already planning to do this walkout and to be
fake mad.
Yes, fake. It was already planned before it ever even came out.
Right. So my point is this: him saying what he said, and his whole hour long or however long it was, him saying what he said was bigger than what he was actually talking about.
Right.
In reality. And so a lot of people miss that. And as I watched it, I'm sitting here thinking like, and I get deep in the thought when I'm hearing this stuff and I'm watching it, and then I'm looking at real life and how things are playing out and all of this. And I'm thinking to myself like, well, shit, I know a lot of people miss the whole this part of this message. And so going back to, like I was saying, and Q, you're absolutely right. I thought the same thing. I said, this is some bullshit. Tomorrow I'm gonna be hearing about somebody at Netflix pissed off.
But let me halfway disagree with you again. I don't think some people missed it, but I think more people got it.
Do you?
Which is what? Yes. That's why
more people got it.
Why?
I really don't.
Hold on. Why didn't they take it off of Netflix? Because what he was
more people fucked with it. More people fucked with it than not fucked with it.
Yeah. Because how are you offended by this?
Yeah.
But I guess with that being said, is I watched it the first time and was feeling that what he was saying, and I was understanding and seeing the deeper picture of, and maybe it did take people more than once to watch it and really pick up on things. But I was like, wow, this message is bigger than what The
I
message
was in
is.
tears the first go around. I don't think it should have taken
Yeah,
you more than
because
the first. I don't think it should have taken you more than one
yeah,
viewing
Some
of
people,
that
yeah,
stand
because
up to
I
get
Those
now
who
of
are
course the more
offended,
you watch it, the more you reinforce some of those things. But like I
right?
was in tears watching that shit. Tears because it was
yeah,
fucking heartbreaking, and tears because it was hilarious, and tears because you
It
could
was
see
truth,
this man really
yeah,
trying to communicate to people of all color, of all backgrounds, like
right?
this is not what the fuck we're doing. This is not what it is.
Right.
Like nobody has a
yeah,
problem with
yeah,
your sexuality. Nobody wants to really exclude anybody from anything, but there have to be some fucking parameters in which we're able to discuss
yeah,
amongst ourselves and amongst each other that this is fair for everybody. Like, and
It's
just
supposed to be fair for everybody.
it's supposed to be, and of course we know that this is not a fair
except for the
society, but
space
fuck, like
Jews, they the ones had the right to be mad if they wanted to.
who?
Space Jews.
Oh, the space Jews, oh
Oh yeah,
god. He had to throw a few things in there. But I mean, but again, that goes back to comedy, right? And comedy is always supposed to get the free pass. Now that doesn't mean that comedy should also give somebody permission to be, you know, a disgusting, vile individual. But when it's done in the guise of comedy and it's not supposed to necessarily be hurting somebody, it's just fucking funny. It's just, you
yeah.
know, cafeteria, lunchroom, bullshit banter, you know, in middle school and high school. But, you know,
Speaking of comedy,
what
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
what I found the most offensive about the whole Netflix ordeal was the fact that the black trans woman that came
Plant.
out speaking
Another plant.
against him,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely.
Another
how
plant.
fucking vile and racist and just horrible. Like
She's
he
trash.
actually was in his real life. Like, and then for them to pull up his tweets and his Facebook posts and his messages, you know, where
That's the
he's
one that wore the
slamming
cowboy hat looking.
I think so, but like was slamming Asian people and
Oh, yeah,
slamming
that's
people
her.
that didn't speak English, like
That's
all
her.
this stuff. I was like, how dare
These are
you? How
plants.
dare
These are
you?
planet people, and they
Yes.
they specific about
Yeah,
that. That's
I
why.
believe that more and more that there are
And even
plants. I
and
do.
they realize that. So even when he talked about, you know, my issues now with trans people is against white people. So
Right.
specifically when they do that, now that's why they got to have a black
A
trans
black person do it. Yeah, a black person
because
playing
they're trying to they're trying
playing
to
the
wash
bad
out
guy.
the
To
right.
I get it.
It's not gonna work if you
Yeah.
know
If Jim Jordan were to come out there and talk shit to Chappelle, it just wouldn't work. It wouldn't have the same effect. But now they got somebody that looks like Chappelle.
right. Mhm.
But it's like they didn't even do their homework. Like, did you not know that he was this nasty on social? Like, did you not know you could pull these things up that he was
It
saying?
don't
And
matter. They
but
could
it
have got
does because
myself.
You
that
know
ruins.
what?
But that
They- Nikki,
jeopardizes
you know
your
why?
credibility. Like now you
They
as the
don't
face
care about
of this.
Just believe them.
Shit.
Like
Yeah.
that's where the whole thing. You don't ask questions. Just believe. They was getting so many W's. Then there never came a time where they had to be fact checked on the
Look exactly. Look at what the GOP is doing right now. They don't care about the truth or facts or anything.
Well,
like
they
that.
never have. But
then
true.
you saw when Charlemagne the God asked Kamala Harris and
Who
Simone
runs this
Sanders like,
country?
whoa, hey, we can't. You're breaking up. We can't hear you.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Kamala came right back. I can hear you. You know, but that's the type of shit that we as citizens have to deal with on both sides, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're always going to pit someone that looks like me against me.
Right.
It's just, it has more effect. It's like, look. And that's why white folks love them some Clarence Thomas. Black folks can't stand Clarence Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just that way. White folks, they always want to gas you up on. Look at the Salt and Sugar, the two black ladies that be supporting Trump. Is that their names? I don't know what they are.
Yeah, Diamond and something.
Diamond and Silk.
Yeah.
White folks love them.
Well, it's like they love Ben Carson and they love Candace Owens and they love Omarosa. You know, they love
because they want somebody to agree with that looks
their
like
shit.
me. Yeah,
Yep.
that looks like me.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just that way. You know, speaking of comedy, so I did my first little stand-up the other day, at the
Oh,
Hyena.
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Just real,
congratulations!
You know, I was
Yeah,
thinking about doing comedy like 2
dude.
days ago.
It's so tough, man. You know, it's not
believe
tough
it.
because if you got a good sense of humor and just people, you're good. The thing about it was, and I'll be in Iowa on the 28th of January, so stay
Oh
tuned.
man.
So
What's up?
That's what's
anyway,
up.
we just happened to go out to this Christmas party and they open mic Tuesday, Wednesday night, you know, and I got up there and did my little 8 minutes, and it was only like maybe 70 people in there.
That's a
But
good crowd.
I had 45 of them. I had 45 of them standing up, clapping.
Oh.
So it was a good night for my first try. So then I started watching videos on how to, you know, you got to get your time and your delivery and all that stuff now. And it's definitely an art to it.
Of course.
But, you know, I'm just used to that, being that dude sitting around with his frat brothers and talk shit and laugh and joke and talk about play the dozens and, you know, all that stuff. But I just got up there. They had this one Indian dude. He was hilarious. He was good, man. I was
Where'd you do it at?
At the Hyena
Okay,
Club.
I've got some friends who are up in the Dallas and Addison way, who do stand-up comedy at a couple different places. So I'll have to link you up with them.
It's
there's a couple improv places up there. Like, that's super dope. You'll have to give us heads up notice because I will pull up into Dallas and totally support it.
It's so much fun, but you know, I can't imagine because I don't do good with heckling. I don't, you know, somebody talk about me or say something crazy, I'm liable to go off on them, you know. But it's Q. If you do, man, just awesome. They say you got to write your punchline first and then build your story to your punchline.
I've been thinking about. I think I said this on Black Tea Talk. I was thinking about getting back into music and doing comedy.
Yeah,
because I feel like those are like the only avenues left where you're actually able to speak your mind.
Yes,
right.
Anywhere else,
the truth.
Now I'm thinking of, I'll be in Des Moines on the 28th, so I'm thinking of what can I say in Des Moines because, you know, diversity is not there. So I have to really, you know, they're not going to take too well if I say motherfucker, you know, the way I say motherfucker. Right. They're not going to, you know, the N-word, white folks, you know, you got to kind of know what you're walking into. So yeah, I'm sitting down. I'm thinking about how
interesting, man. That's
present to a Des Moines, Iowa crowd. You know, and me and Sonya gonna be the only black folks in the room. I'm back.
You'd be surprised though. You'd be surprised. Like when we were in Iowa, and I can't remember what city we stopped in, if it was Des Moines or if it was one of the other major cities, because there's only so many fucking major cities in Iowa.
All two of them.
Yeah, right, literally. But I was really surprised. There was, you know, we stopped at a black-owned restaurant. So when I travel, like, I mean, you know, I don't go to franchise anyways, but like when I travel, I try to make sure that we support all black-owned businesses or at least local businesses, you know, if one is not just like, you know, conveniently available depending on where we're traveling. And went to a black-owned, a woman-owned, black-owned brunch spot, and I was like, damn, this is hella fucking swanky and dope, and like had like an old school Austin vibe to it. So I was really surprised because I kind of thought like, like there's not going to be like any black people here, and there was.
It's one of those things where
you never know. Could be a good turnout.
I hope so. I mean, when I lived in Vermont, you know, I could go months without seeing a black person, unless I was at the airport leaving or flying back in. So I mean, literally, I walked into the Walmart and everybody in the store stopped what they was doing and looked at me walk through that bitch like I was Sasquatch or something. I swear to God, it was like they were just staring at me like, holy shit. I met a lady in Vermont that was 39 years old, had never seen a black person in real life.
Stop it.
Yeah, it's crazy to think this in real life. Like seriously.
Like today, like this actually happens.
This was 9 years ago. So she's 48 now. She had never seen a black person face to face in real life. That's just the reality of it. So yeah, I'm trying to write some stuff for Des Moines. I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings or nothing, you know, by saying some crazy shit.
Hey,
it's just I have to tell them these are just jokes, y'all, because you know,
these are just jokes. These are just jokes.
So we got we got about 3-5 minutes left.
Okay,
I have
one.
Ahead. You messed my segue up. I had a perfect segue going on. It's all good. It's good. I got interested. So with all of this that's being said, and we come full circle from everything that we talked about, is it time to cancel culture?
You hate cancel culture.
Oh man.
I think cancel culture is always going to exist. I think it's existed ever since, like, you know, if you look at like I've even read articles saying cancel culture has existed since like the 50s, and when some comedians were complaining they couldn't make race jokes, you know, anymore because they said the civil rights movement was making it hard to make race jokes, you know, and so I mean, you know, if it goes all the way back to then, I think there's always going to be some cancel culture. There's all, but you
We
notice
the
though,
people got to start.
everybody that's
If we
complaining
gonna
about
do it, then
cancel
we got to
culture,
do it.
everybody that's complaining about cancel culture still has a platform to complain about cancel culture.
Right.
So you got to ask the
Boy,
question, like,
they
how
really
much
do.
canceling is really going on
Good
if they
cute
still got a platform?
face.
No,
No,
well,
because I
I
mean,
mean,
think
I
about
see
it.
what
Like,
you're saying, but it's they you still biting, but they took your teeth out,
well,
so you
no,
don't
but I
you
mean,
don't
but if
have
you
any.
still got a platform, you're not actually canceled though. If you still got a stage or a microphone, how are you canceled? That's what
Oh,
I'm
it's ways to
asking.
cancel.
Well, I
It's
mean,
just
because you
like
still have the hype surrounding trying to cancel that person. I mean,
Well,
there's
not
still
yeah,
that
only
but they're
that,
still
then you
saying
energy.
that
have
they
the
got a
ability to
stage
take
on.
away
Okay, I
people's
understand,
livelihood.
That's what I'm
but
saying. You still have that
We don't
energy
own any
created around
mediums.
that person to try to
well, no, but
collapse
I mean,
them.
I'm saying, you know, the government's not busting into your home. They're not arresting you for saying. I mean, if you go to China, yeah, there's a real cancel culture. If you say something, your
No, in
whole
the
family.
U.S. in capitalism, there's a cancel culture because
It's a price to
the
pay.
mediums that you have, they can take you off of Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. They
Well,
can
yeah,
cancel
but
your
I'm
shows.
saying,
They
but
can
that's
take
not
you
the
off of
same thing
networks.
as.
They
I'm
can.
in jail
Yeah, but
all the
that's not
time.
the.
Like I'm in
That's
Facebook jail again.
Yeah,
Like
but I mean, but that's not the same thing as your family
I
winds
got
up
my
in a
own place in that bitch.
you know. I mean, I think you
right.
kind of
cancel culture
overblow.
ain't kill culture. That don't mean they're gonna kill you, but that just means that they're taking away your livelihood and your
Right. They
ability
trying to
to.
cut you
Well,
down. They trying to cut you off at the knees
but I mean, but
somewhere.
I'm saying, Q. Sometimes I think this whole idea of being canceled gets over exaggerated. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't
like
think
if
no.
you go, like if you go to
Go ahead.
China or you go to Iran or Saudi Arabia, and you ask them what cancel culture is, this is a totally different thing than what it is here.
Okay, but what it means
Right.
in America, I don't think it's been exaggerated because what it does, they use high profile people, they cut off their livelihood, and they use those people as an example for everybody else.
Well, let me
Now
ask you
you
this,
make
Q. Has
sure,
Dave
hold on, hold on,
Chappelle's
hold on, hold on.
livelihood been cut off?
What they saying is you make sure that you don't say or do or think any of these things either. You need to get in lockstep with
Get
the
in
way that
line.
we think,
Yeah.
what we feel, or
Well,
this can happen to you.
Get in
Q,
line.
I'm
You
gonna have
better
to disagree because
comply.
I don't think Dave Chappelle's livelihood has been canceled. There was a
Well,
They
hype
they
around,
tried to. They
They
but
tried.
yeah,
try
tried
but
to.
it
That
didn't
whole
work though, did it?
campaign was
This is
trying
It
to
like the
didn't
cancel
first.
work.
him.
This is the first time cancel culture has been pushed back on in a while.
Well, okay, well, cute. I mean, okay. So, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I mean, which high profile figure has really been canceled in the sense that he's not making any more money at all?
Shit, the baby. The
No,
baby's
no, the
still in
baby
trouble.
making money. He's making an album.
Travis Scott is still
He did
losing
that
gigs.
song. He did that song with Dua Lipa that's still playing on the radio.
Yeah,
So
but
yeah, he's still
he's
making
still
money.
Dua
not being
Lipa.
invited. He's still not being invited to shows
Well,
that
yeah,
he
but
had
he's still
previously
making money.
booked.
Yeah, I hear what you're
Not
saying.
as much. Tory
Well, yeah,
Lanez
but
with
he's
his shit with
still.
Megan. There's a
Well,
cancel
yeah,
culture for Tory Lanez, you
but
know.
I'm saying, Nikki, though, he's still making enough money where he can still afford a mansion and a
We can't
Maserati and all that.
quantify how much money he's making and what his pocketbook looks
Yeah,
like.
you can't.
We just know that the moves that the cancel culture is making is adding to his money being affected. His checks are smaller than what they were. And he may still have more
Nikki, I
money than
mean,
I have, but
well, okay,
money
but
being
Nikki, how
affected
about
is
this
money
though?
being affected.
But Nikki, but I'm saying, okay, if I
Louis
pull up to a
C.K.
McDonald's
Yeah,
and
Louis
I see a
C.K.
lady
He got
working
canceled
the
bad.
drive-through, okay, yeah, then I'll say, okay, Nikki was right,
No, it's not my job to quantify what his bank account looks like. I just know that there are
Right.
people who are trying to stop his money flow, and it's happening.
yeah, but there are also people that are
If you
keeping
were
his money
supposed to make
from going.
$300,000 this weekend, and now you're not making $300,000 this weekend,
Well, yeah,
that's a
but
big
Nikki,
fucking difference in that bank
well,
account.
yeah, but
So
Nikki though, but I mean, I'm saying there are people that are keeping his bank account going. Otherwise, he
But
wouldn't be able to afford to keep making music
you're trying to
videos.
you worried about
quantify
the wrong
that by
thing,
you're trying to base that off of what you need
right?
to
No, I'm just
survive.
trying to
versus
base it off the
now what
fact that the baby has to still be making some kind of money to keep making music videos and to keep appearing on award shows and keep having his videos on YouTube. So I mean, he's got to be making some money.
Boosie's a perfect example. Boosie is another perfect example. People trying to cancel Boosie left and right, and I think the more that people try to cancel Boosie, the more fucking popular he becomes.
Yeah, so
the more he becomes popular.
If the cancel
Boosie is not made by mainstream.
How is he?
No, he's not.
Because certain
he don't give a fuck about mainstream.
Dave Chappelle is not made by
right. He don't give a fuck.
When he left that Chappelle show and left all that money behind, he came back on his own.
And said, guess what I'm gonna do? And he did what he said he was gonna do.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Netflix don't own him.
One of my
He's doing
best
partnerships with them.
Right. One of my best dudes always said, you can't knock the hustler. That was Jay-Z. And he's another one. He owns so much shit and he's on top. But Chappelle doing what he did when he walked away from that money, I said, man, that because it ain't too many motherfuckers that would just walked away from $50 million.
Principle is everything. Everything. When he left the money, he said he left the money on the bus. When he left the money on the bus, even though he had money, most people don't turn down $50 million fucking dollars. So to turn that down, see, and that's it. You know, look what Dave didn't do for $50 million. You know what I'm saying? And that's why Netflix wanted his ass back.
And that's why Netflix failed. That's why Netflix wasn't about to cancel his ass.
No,
over this
Comedy Central was just greedy. They didn't want to pay him $500 million. See, that's what that was all about. The reason they were canceling him because they didn't want to open up their wallets and pay him the $500 million that his contract had originally negotiated. Because Cat Williams said when he first got that contract with Comedy Central, however much money the Dave Chappelle show made, they were supposed to split it 50-50. And Comedy Central did not want to do that because they didn't expect the Dave Chappelle show to make over $1 billion. I mean, they said in total, which means if you go 50-50, that means Comedy Central owed Dave Chappelle $500 million. And they didn't and so they didn't want to pay him $500, so they figured it's cheaper to just
let me go this way. Let me go this way, Armand. I got a question for you.
Okay.
Do you believe that in nowadays, and I got the answer to this because you answered it earlier in the show.
Okay.
Do you believe nowadays that people are more cautious about what they say? You answered the question earlier today. You was like, I don't even know if I want to say this.
So I'd say so because of a social stigma, because you don't want to get there's like it's like that novel The Scarlet Letter, where rumors got around or people found out that this woman had an affair outside of marriage, so the whole Puritan community shamed her and all that, even though the point of the book was that the whole community was hypocritical because they were doing the same thing.
If I could I'd just drop the mic right there if I could, Armand. You just said it all. I'm gonna take unscrew my mic and just drop it right there. Hey, you got no more questions for you. That's it. Hey, anybody got anything else?
That's it.
But see, so Cuba, let me ask you this point though. So is your point that cancel culture is actually hypocritical?
You answered it already. I can't even add nothing to it.
They're trying to get other people canceled when they're doing the same thing.
Go back and replay what you just said.
All right.
You answered it. You answered all of it. Like I ain't.
Got you, Q. So
I had a lineup of questions for you, and I don't even need to ask them.
And that's why we don't need
it. You answered it. You answered.
Gotcha. All right.
Gee.
Nikki, what we got before we close out? You got anything else?
No, I just think my issue with cancel culture is kind of like the issue with most people is you don't know what you're canceling. You don't know why you're canceling what you're canceling. Like, people just jump on these fucking bandwagons with things and they just ride with them because it's like the in thing or it's the thing to do. And people don't really research or try to look into, like, I need to form an opinion on something first. And my formulation of my opinion needs to be based on the data in which I'm trying to make a decision, right? And all too often people just want to cancel shit, like, or speak out about things or claim something. And it's like, you didn't really even read yet. Like, when the situation, like we had I don't know if you got to see it yet, Stokely. We did an episode of where we all talked about The Closer and like what that looked like to us, you know, and it was like the week after it came out, you know, and you know, and a lot of people, of course, made, I think, very rash comments emotionally. And it's like, did you watch it? Well, no, I only heard about what, you know, they said he talked about. Why the fuck are you even talking then? You don't get to make an opinion if you literally didn't invest any time into learning what we're talking about. Oh, well, well, so and so said that he said such and such, but you didn't watch it. Why are you talking? So if you're going to participate in cancel culture, know what the fuck you're canceling. At least have some knowledge on, what it is that you're deciding to cancel, and and why are you canceling, and are you recruiting others to cancel? I'm not necessarily an advocate of cancel culture per se, but I'm an advocate of, holding people to their feet to the fire and people being responsible. So there are things I will, on principle, give up, stop going to, no longer participate in supporting, based on, again, looking up information before I make a decision. But the cancel culture, I think, is part of this immature, like, groupthink, I think is the word that you use a lot, Q. This immature groupthink of people who just kind of like keyboard warrior bully type thing into, pushing the agenda of canceling this or that and not understanding why. And that's dangerous.
You made a good point earlier. If you're following some shit, and I mainly speak on the shit that I know about,
Right.
But Q made a good point earlier in saying, before you get all tied up in all this Antifa and this Black Lives Matter and all this other shit that's going on, know what the fuck you talking about. Know what the fuck you talking about. And just don't jump on some shit because your girlfriend on that shit too. I done cussed a gang of motherfuckers out for that. Like you said, motherfucker gonna come to me with some bullshit, and I'm thinking like, motherfucker, what is you talking about? You didn't even read the shit,
Well, and what you don't realize is you're being used. You're being used just like everybody else. You're being used. You are being used to push this agenda, this propaganda, this, this whatever. And now you gonna look real foolish when it comes back out that, like, you don't even know what the hell you were talking about. But you still jamming Lil Baby. Or you still jamming the baby? Like, come on, man.
I had a conversation with a motherfucker just 2 days ago about the wealth of this country and how it got to be the wealth of this country, and how you have literally whole towns years ago that were wealthy because of slavery. And they were like, no, that's bullshit, whatever. I said, do you realize that you had literally just the bodies of black people that were in certain states in this country were worth $4 billion in 1860. That's $4 billion in 1860. Now, that's not thinking about inflation or anything at this point. That's $4 billion in 1860. That'd be well over 400 billion today in the economy. So, just stuff when they're arguing back with me and I'm giving them facts and I'm giving them, here, check this out. Look, you go here. You can read about this, you can learn about this, but they don't want to do that. They rather shut you down and cancel the culture of enlightening people on the history of how your family became so rich. Johnson and Johnson, the grandson, I think his name is Nick Johnson. He's one of them that has exposed the rich kids of today. He's worth more money every time you put a Band-Aid on, he's getting paid. But he's so wealthy. He's so wealthy.
Or get the jab.
This is crazy. Yeah. Every time you put something that says Johnson & Johnson, some lotion on, some shampoo in your head, he getting paid.
And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, like, a little bit tonight. In our second
last words.
No, I am. No, I'm not going to go there. That's what I'm saying. That's kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight. But I do want to talk about that tomorrow, because I think, Tierra really hit it hard to me when I heard her say on Black Tea Talk this morning, like, we really need to start having some honest conversations. We need to start having some boundaries, and we need to start having some honest conversations, because, in particular, I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there with the COVID shit. Like, we are now 2 years going into year 3 with this, and it's like, look what the fuck is happening. We need to start having some honest conversations. Like, so maybe we can talk about that next week, after the holidays. It'll give us a week to kind of look at what's taken place in this last week with, I'm seeing so many people canceling their Christmas plans and canceling their New Year's plans, and now fucking afraid again. And it's like, there's just been so much misinformation and so much. So this goes back to the whole propaganda and agenda, idea that I had earlier today when we were talking about what our topic was going to be for tonight. It was not just a transgender thing. That isn't all that we wanted to talk about. There's other things besides that, but that's certainly being one of those things. Because we have to figure out whether we're part of the problem or part of the solution, then I guess from there, the next step from there being, okay, then what do I do? If I choose to want to do anything, some people may not want to do anything, but if I choose to want to do something differently, what do I do? What do I actively do to do something different, to not be a part of this propaganda that we've all been a part of some form of fashion, but how are we still playing a part to this today? And if we're part of the problem or part of the solution. And these agendas, like, I know a lot of people don't like that word, but like, that's the best way you can describe what's fucking happening, is agendas and propaganda and, things being pushed by the masses. And, 5 years ago, kind of like you, Q, like, these conversations have definitely opened my mind. 5 years ago, I probably would have struggled with the thought of like people being plants, or like just like not struggle, but like, nah, that isn't possibly what's happening. But like,
Really?
you can't
I've
fucking
always thought
deny
that too, Q.
today.
I'd be like,
You
this
cannot deny it today. You can't deny it today. And so that dangerously continues to push and propel agendas. And so I'd like to maybe like extend that conversation next week.
Yeah, we had a conversation.
Because it's just time.
You got any last words, Armand?
No, I don't think so. I think I pretty much said everything.
Well, I'm glad you joined us today.
You took it away.
Well, let me say the last thing. Go ahead, Armand. You about to say something, even though you said you would.
It's just, Stokely, I mean, you brought up a lot of good points, like about slavery and how that wealth really, made this country a superpower. Like having 200-300 years of unpaid labor with no health insurance.
Man,
man.
That
man. You think about that. Think about it.
And not to mention the fact that the original, like the founding fathers, they wanted slavery to extend into perpetuity.
Absolutely.
They wanted it to keep going forever. And even though, even as technology advanced and all that,
late 1800s, we produced 89% of the world's cotton free. So
free.
So and I think that there is kind of a pushback against, like, I think the whole controversy with the critical race theory, despite the fact that from what I've read, not a whole lot of people even know what critical race theory is actually about.
Right.
So Nikki, I agree with you that there are some agendas. I don't believe everything is an agenda. I think something is just basic human incompetence. I think something is just, human biases and prejudices and jealousies and all the petty stuff we human beings are famous for.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think y'all pretty much covered it all.
And I ain't gonna go into that part. The last part I'll say is Smack says, he said this a long time ago, and it always comes back to my mind. I kind of rock with it on occasion when we're talking about cancel culture. Smack back this even back with BLM, but he said you need to know when your movement has been hijacked.
Mm-hmm.
I think cancel culture was good for a lot of things. It helped shine the light on a lot of dirty stuff that needed the light shined on, and people, like Nikki said, needed to be held accountable. So for that part of it, I did think it was useful. But there comes a point when your movement has been hijacked. And now I think we've gotten to the place where cancel culture is not used for the predators and the molesters and the people who are doing evil things. Now it's been weaponized for people who don't agree with the things that I agree with. So we want to put some pressure on them. The term cancel culture, the movement, how it's been used, it's been hijacked now. So we need to move on. Yes, still hold people accountable. But the whole we canceling such and such, I think this is the time we need to get away from that. Right. That's just my final thought.
What's mob mentality? And anything mob mentality can be super fucking dangerous. Agree. Yeah,
so
totally agree.
Thank everybody for joining in, participating. Thanks Kevin and Jules, and I think Sean and everybody who gave their input. If you watch this later, make sure that you give your comments as well, and we'll continue the conversation on the Freethinkers page. Make sure, if you have not already, subscribe to our YouTube page. We are building this. So if you have not done it, I'm going to repeat it again. Make sure you subscribe to the page, Free Thinkers Worldwide. Go to the page, hit subscribe, hit like. And we're going to build this. Like we said, we're pivoting. Just in case.
You see, I can't stay out of jail. If you go to jail, we're in trouble. One of us got to stay out.
I've never been to jail ever.
No, you haven't.
I haven't been to Facebook jail.
He don't be on enough. He don't be starting enough shit on Facebook to be going to jail. So that's good. We got to
He ain't real, y'all. He ain't real, y'all. Look, well, they locked me up just because.
I know if the wind blows. But we are. So for sure join us over there. Like, please share the page. Join us every Tuesday night. Follow us over on YouTube. We will absolutely follow back, and just help us grow this sucker, because conversation sometimes is all we got, man. And the more we do this, the more we keep being told like we need to keep doing this. So share us with your people, your friends, your family. Like the page. We will see you next Tuesday, 8:05. Join us for some more agenda-based conversation. If y'all got any, news, of course, that you want to update folks with, drop it over on the Facebook page and share. We got a lot of entrepreneurial spirit and a lot of dope shit happening over there. Stokely's got comedy coming up. Dallas folks, follow him, network. That's just what it's about. Just trying to grow our family.
Fly to the boys and see your boy.
I see you when you get back to Texas.
I need all three of y'all up there clapping. Just
I'll
be hacking with you.
Right. But we will see y'all next Tuesday. Good night, y'all.
Y'all be good.
Have a good one.
All right.